The following podcast may contain spoilers, strong language, graphic violence, and nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. Jolly good.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
I don't know that I can start the episode while Brian's holding a knife. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Four Guys in a Movie podcast, where friends get together and talk about movies from their past to see how they hold up today. I'm your host, Rob. With me are my friends.
Brian.
Tony.
And Joe.
I mean, friends is really like a loose term. I mean...
We tolerate each other.
Okay.
That's all that we can
You're a
ask.
loose term.
Yeah, I am. Oh, yeah.
So, today we watched The
Jones,
Last
but-
Samurai. We watched what?
Nothing.
Joe's Good-Ass Barbecue?
Jones, but yeah.
And big ass truck rental.
Oh, wow.
And foot massage.
Foot massage. In that order.
I put that on a website today.
I saw that.
No, today we watched A Man Shorter Than the Average of Japan Save Japan.
I mean, saves the...
I was thinking, how's that samurai armor going to fit him? Then I realized that, Tom Cruise is about the size of an average Japanese man, so it should just slide right on there.
They actually had to tighten it a little. Loose on them.
Tony, you have a little history of this movie?
I do.
Laid on thick, brah.
So, yeah, we did The Last Samurai, rated R. Came out in 2003. It was directed by Edward Zwick, who did a lot of stuff. About Last Night, Glory, Legend of the Fall, Courage Under Fire, Blood Diamond, Love and Other Drugs. Like, not the kind of ilk we tend to see on this podcast.
I like
basically.
those movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Good.
saying. Like,
He's
He's
kind
just a
of
straight up good director.
Yeah.
That's weird.
but not even just good movies, but like award winning ones. And yeah. But anyway, yeah. So this movie is the first time that Ken Watanabe was in an American film, and the first time he spoke English in a film. Tom Cruise was almost killed during one of the stunts in this movie when
he insisted on jumping out of a plane.
yes.
For no reason.
No, I guess they were using either real swords or real enough swords, and the mechanical horse he was on had a malfunction and didn't help him to duck in time.
You mean his feet didn't reach the stirrups?
Yo, it's the truth, though. It's
so
the last battle. Like,
yeah.
I pointed it out. I'm like, everybody else's feet are down at the horse's chest. His feet are up on its shoulders.
But anyway, the sword was swung and was stopped just an inch from his neck by his co-star.
Which co-star?
It was
some guy.
Yeah. Do you really want me to butcher this name?
No, I want you to
Not
tell
Ken
me that it
Watanabe.
was Peter Pettigrew.
I kind of do.
I kind of do too. Actually.
Sandinadada? I don't know.
All right.
Santa?
Yes, Santa. I'm not even going to try.
Santa Dante?
Unfortunately, I missed this one while watching it, but apparently in the final battle, when Tom Cruise is getting off his horse bucks back and kicks one of the warriors in the groin. Yeah.
Dirty Artie.
Dirty Artie indeed. And according to the International Movie Daily Bugle...
Wait, what?
Spider-Man. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get what you did there.
Yeah. Because this movie, the end battle of this movie, I should say, took place on May the 26th, die-hard fans will watch it every year on May 26th. I'm quoting them here because I don't know that there are any die-hard fans that watch this every year.
All right.
What does May 26th have to do with anything?
That was when they had their last battle, so.
Oh. No, but I mean for Die Hard, though. Oh, yeah.
I was there first too.
I'm confused.
He means fanboys.
Yes.
See, I got that
I know
too, but only for a second.
Yeah, it was for a second.
Well, because here's the part that's tripping you up.
I was-
Thinking that anyone's such a die-hard fan of this movie that they watch it every year.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the problem
no,
I had.
I didn't even consider that. I just thought we were talking about Die Hard.
So Joe thought that because of the last battle of this movie, people watch Die Hard every year on May 26th.
As well they should.
I mean, they should. Yeah, that's not wrong. But
Yeah, why not?
Because it's not Christmas.
doesn't matter.
You can watch it twice a year. It's okay.
If I have a twice-a-year movie, it's going to be Predator.
We've gone over this, but
We
it
have
could
gone
be
over this.
Die Hard and Aliens are also acceptable choices.
Yeah.
Aliens can be a little long for an any time
Plus-
of the year watch.
you know, Christmas, you watch Die Hard. May 26th, you watch Die Hard 2. It's okay.
Why?
No, don't watch Die Hard 2.
Hard
You're just
2.
like, why?
Die Hard
can't we
3,
just watch
maybe?
that?
I don't go
Die
past
Hard
that.
doesn't
I
have
don't
any
know.
sequels.
but-
What are you talking about?
No, you go with Die Hard if a number's involved or anything other than Die Hard, you stop.
Yeah, what's more words past Die Hard involved? Just leave it alone.
Even letters
Fair enough.
past Die Hard.
Fair enough.
Die Harder.
I forgot. Oh.
Yeah.
Did we reach a Die Hardest yet? I stopped paying attention.
I don't think so.
I'm sure we will.
hmm
Yeah, if not, we'll get there. But anyway.
Was there a Die Hard series too?
No.
No, okay.
I don't think so.
There was a movie with Tom Cruise where he became the last samurai.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's 2.5 hours long, so I mean, all right. So what else we got? All right. Is that all the history you have?
That's the
All
history.
right. All
I
right.
saw this movie in the theaters when it came out.
Yeah. So
I
did I.
did too.
So who?
Think with some of you
Yeah.
guys.
So you didn't see it with us, though?
No, I saw it on a date.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did mention
Yeah.
that last time, I think. So I think the rest of us at this
Didn't go
table
well.
saw it together.
I believe
yeah.
so, yeah.
It didn't go well.
No, it didn't go well.
Were you like yelling in the theater, "Sucky"?
No, I was a dumbass.
Oh. All right. Well, so that's our history.
Yeah.
You got some numbers?
I do. Does anyone want to guess at the budget this movie had?
$100 million.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
125.
I don't want to go that crazy. I'm gonna say 90.
140 million.
Oh my god!
Man.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Oh my god! All
I
right.
had to fly everybody out to New Zealand for this.
Mhm.
It's where it was shot.
180.
Don't know why. Are you guessing at how much it made?
That's my guess. How much it made? 180.
No, he's still taking guesses, even though he knows the answer to how much it cost. I'll go with 250.
I will go with $200 million.
Okay. Worldwide, this made $457 million.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Die Hard fans, I guess.
I guess, yeah, maybe there are people out there. You know what? Probably in Japan.
Yeah. You
It
think
did well
Japan
there.
was really like, yeah, I want to see a movie where Tom Cruise has to come save our asses.
Well, no,
does he
apparently,
Yeah, see,
doesn't
it's not
save
the word to
anything,
use.
yeah.
All right.
and apparently Japan really liked this movie. It was one of the, I believe they were saying it was one of the first movies made by Americans that more accurately portrayed Japanese people and their culture and so on. And
I
it was
can
not
see
just
that.
racist
And yeah,
nonsense.
Tom Cruise doesn't save their asses, and I guess we'll get into that a little more as we talk about the film. So, did we already talk about actors? It's not. I mean, there's
You got
just that one
Tom
Tony
Cruise,
Butcher.
you got Ken Watanabe.
And that's it.
That's basically it. That's all. Billy Connolly's there for like a minute, but
Yeah.
he's cool.
And there's a bunch of Japanese actors that I'm not gonna disgrace by butchering their names. So
Yeah.
First. Okay.
it's not the first. Well, yeah.
If he was capable of mentioning their names, he would disgrace the shit out of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the list, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there Doritos today? No, I don't see any. Okay.
there's a little. Oh wait, yeah, I have Doritos. Hold on.
If I spent a few hours or days, months, whatever, learning how to properly pronounce their names, do it properly.
Not for you.
Oh, I don't want Doritos.
But Brian wants you to have Doritos.
But you know what? If you try sometimes, you might find get what you need.
You
Well,
Okay,
think
can you
Doritos.
try
Yeah.
then? Like,
Hey, we're dealing with another culture, so we're gonna need to put Doritos in your face at some point.
Well, all right. So here's the thing: you want to get into this movie, or you want to get into these gigantic Reese's?
well, it's getting
nuts.
He should have.
well, I mean, I'm sure they've already touched a gigantic Reese's.
Let's do this.
This
All right.
is Chance.
Put the knife down, Rob. No.
I can't.
It's really
I
one
won't.
big Reese's.
It's too
The
big Reese's.
best
Oh,
of
it's two of
professionals.
It's a-
See, like, when you get big like that, the peanut
ratio
butter
the
gets
ratio
chocolate
gets off.
changes.
Yeah.
But this one has the Reese's Pieces in it, so that's a plus.
Okay.
Can I carve you a slice?
Let me get a picture. Hold on.
Well, banana for scale.
Cool. Got it.
From now on, this is what I'm going to get instead of pumpkin pies to bring to Thanksgiving.
It's got a pretty good amount of resistance to it when you try to cut it.
We doing like quarters?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's
Start
do
with quarters.
Do whatever you can. So, for the listening audience, Rob is struggling to cut this giant
Not struggling,
Reese's
it's okay.
cup.
It's like an inch and a half thick. Like it's a
I'm
big
not
ass-
saying
yeah.
that to insult him.
Saying it's a struggle.
Yeah. I'm also just trying to keep our listeners filled in on this so they don't turn this off immediately.
They already did.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they know
probably.
what they're getting into.
Tony, would you grab the napkins behind you? Well, good thing is it's a little soft, so it's not impossible to bite through.
Yeah. Whoa, close. All right, so this movie
Got a microphone in front of my face. Can't see what I'm doing.
starts out. How's it start out? It's
Ken Watanabe talks about Japan as being made by a sword. And then he's meditating.
Wait, was that Ken Watanabe that was narrating? I thought it was.
Maybe it could have been the other guy.
I thought it was Wormtail.
Yeah, it was
I think it
Wormtail.
was,
Yeah, but we see Ken Watanabe's character Katsumoto meditating on some kind of tiger. He's envisioning
a white tiger.
white tiger.
Yeah,
This will be important in a few minutes.
he's talking about Japan and honor and like the warrior way and stuff, and he's dreaming about this group of samurai attacking a tiger, and the tiger's just like freaking out, and then other stuff happens. We cut to America,
Yep.
where
Tom Cruise is drinking.
Tom Cruise is drinking. He's got his like John Marston cosplay going, and he's doing this. What is it? A demonstration for a Winchester rifle?
He is a sweaty fucker.
Is it what kind of rifle is it?
It is a Winchester. It's a repeating rifle.
Oh, so it's a Winchester repeater.
Yeah, lever action. Actually, I mean, I think technically it's a carbine.
Okay.
But the bad guy from Real Genius is trying to introduce him, and
Dickless.
It's true. This man does not have a penis. Forgot that was Walter Peck. I don't know why I remembered Real Genius.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like,
I don't know. So yeah, Walter Peck is trying to get him out on the stage.
Can we watch that? Real Genius? Is that on the list?
I just watched it. It's not that good.
Oh, really? Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, and then Tom Cruise's character Captain Nathan Algren, is just apparently he's a national hero, but he is too drunk to go give a fuck about the show.
Yep.
So Walter Peck plays this totally wrong because he comes back there. He's like, "You're fired. Now go out there and do your show."
yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's a great way to get somebody to give a fuck about the job they're about to do.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you're fired. Get out on the stage and hold a gun. Yeah. Like, this is not going to end well for you, buddy.
That's how Gallagher's last show ended.
So he's just talking about how cool this gun is and how he used it to kill many savages and talking shit about a bunch of Indians. Then he just decides, I don't care anymore. I'm just putting some real bullets in this gun and I'm just opening fire on the set here.
Yeah. He totally pulls like a Dr. Grant where he starts telling little kids what the gun can do to people. And he's like, this will blow a 6-inch hole in your daddy, boy.
Yep.
Just like me.
Then he winks at the moms, like legit.
Yeah. He's like, I'll put a 6-inch something in you,
6-inch in your hole.
provided I can find 2 extra inches.
Then he just like tosses the gun back to Walter Peck and he's just like, mic drop, I'm out.
Strap this to your sore ass plane.
And you see Billy Connolly watch that.
Zebulon.
Billy Connery.
Zebulon. Yeah, Connery. Yes,
The greatest Scotsman
Playing-
of all.
Sergeant Zebulon Gant.
You what?
That's the name, I guess. I don't know.
Zebulon?
Zebulon.
Zebulon Grant.
Is that a real
Or Gant.
human
Gant.
name?
Zebulon Gant.
Gant.
But I mean, is that a real human name?
It must be.
Rob, he will shit kick the whole lot of you if you keep talking
True,
trash about
maybe,
his name.
possibly, but I still need to know what page of Battlefield Earth he got his
Yeah.
name off of.
Probably the back cover.
Yeah, definitely.
So Yeah,
The dedication.
Tom Cruise
page.
gave it to him.
so he meets Tom Cruise
In the
around.
Bible, Rob.
Zebulon?
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
Sounds biblical.
So yeah, he meets Captain Algren around the
That's
back
crazy.
of this job. I mean, wherever they were, some fair or something. And Billy Connolly's like, "Hey, you fucked that job up pretty well. I think I got you another one." And they talk a little bit about Little Bighorn. You find out they were both with General Custer.
Or, as our subtitles said, Little Bighorn.
Yes, they were both with him.
Nobody will get that because they weren't watching it with us.
No. So the subtitles that we had,
A perfectly legitimate copy.
yeah, it must have been a weird print.
It must have been.
Replace some of the B's with V's for the words.
Most of them.
Most of them, yes. Especially like names.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
pretty
they. I'm not sure whoever was translating spoke English fluently.
All right, Brian, fine. Will this do?
Close enough.
If I eat some tater chips?
Yeah, close enough.
All right, so
Sit here like a raccoon.
long story short, he takes Zebulon over here, takes Captain Algren to meet this guy from Japan, Mr. Omura, and his old buddy, the Colonel, not Colonel Sanders, who I guess was one of the ones that ordered the slaughter that Tom Cruise is having flashbacks to later in the movie.
Yeah.
And Omura's like, "Hey, check it out. I'll pay you like way more money than you are making right now to just, train my army to go kill some samurai."
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I'm sure there's some more bullshit. You're going to have me do some terrible things, but you're paying me enough, so I'll do it.
I can buy so much booze with that.
What did he say specifically?
Well, he lets the colonel know where he stands by saying, "You want me to kill Japos? I'll kill Japos. You want me to kill the enemies of Japos? Kill the enemies of Japos." I think he said, like, for the amount of they're paying me, he'll do that. He's like, "But for you, Colonel, I'll kill you for free."
I'll do it for free chicken.
Yeah, that's right. He does say, "I'll do it for free, chicken."
By the way, chicken, if you're listening, the 4 a.m. podcast, we'll do it for free. Except for Joe, I guess.
Yeah, no,
You'll have to get
You're
some of
gonna have
that.
to pay me for that.
Joe will have to get some of that chick apostrophe N.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, actually, next scene, he's just like, we're going to Japan, woo!
Yep.
And he's on the boat, just having flashbacks of killing women and children.
Like, legitimately just
Yep.
shooting.
All the while, it's playing Turning Japanese, which is, I thought it was a really weird choice.
That was just what's going in your head.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's what's going in your head. The rest of us were hearing the normal music from the
Well, for me, it was Jones Barbecue and Foot
I
Massage
mean, well, yeah.
while committing to genocide.
That's terrible.
So yeah, he gets off the boat and is immediately attacked by Peter Pettigrew, who is his translator. I believe he's going by the name Simon. You get a bunch of exposition on the
And he
state of
loves to
Japan.
do drawings.
Thank you.
Where basically Japan's, reforming, modernizing, and they're buying up all this Western stuff. They're really crazy about it. But the samurai are like, "Hey guys, maybe we shouldn't do that."
Yeah. Let's not forget all of our culture.
Yeah. And the rest of the country's like, "No, we want to do this." The samurai are like, "Hey, maybe we should kill you."
Do we need a Starbucks on both corners of this block?
You really need to destroy my temple to put up a gap. Just saying.
A baby gap, no less.
Now, an interesting thing I learned historically that this movie totally omits is how the Meiji Reformation started, like where they started trading with the West. Like, do you know how that came about?
No.
Tom Cruise?
Well, America sent their equivalent to Tom Cruise in this time period over on a boat, and he's like, "You got 1 year to open up your ports to trade with us, or we're coming back with a whole navy and we're invading you." And then they did. They came back the next year just with a big navy, and we're like, "You're trading with us, or we're going to kill you."
That sounds about right.
And then Japan was like, "Wait a minute, I like all this stuff they have. Let's get a bunch of it."
And let's reverse engineer it make it better, and then sell it back to America.
Sounds about right.
Well, I think it was more like America was just like, hey, let's make these things shittier. And Japan was like,
Will do.
not.
Well, like it seems like Japanese culture, like this is in the movie, is like they dedicate themselves to like doing the best at whatever they do, regardless of what it is. So I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make it the fucking best I can. So fuck it.
Now, I found it funny that the movie kind of omits that. But basically,
Playmates Ninja Turtles, 2 points of articulation. You get a Figma, 1,000.
All right.
the Reese's peanut butter cups in my mouth. I can't talk.
No, it's okay. What did everybody think about it?
Pretty good. I mean, it was too much peanut butter for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew better.
As if you just handed
ratio.
me 2 regular peanut butter cups, I would have been a little more pleased.
I think the Reese's Pieces did help, but
Yeah, it's better than like the bar that has the Reese's Pieces in it, because I think those were larger in scale. I don't know. Either way, I don't really like the Reese's Pieces in the peanut butter cup. I think that needs to be separate.
Doesn't really add to it for me.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we put candy coated peanut butter in the peanut butter coated in candy.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not following the problem here.
I mean, it's not a problem, but it's like, if that was just a regular peanut butter cup, I think I would have liked it better.
Yeah.
You look so mad right now.
I think you're saying it's kind of like a live action Disney movie. You're not adding anything. It's just slightly different. No one really cares.
So now we got Tom Cruise training this.
Well, we meet the Emperor first. We
Oh,
meet
the Emperor.
Meiji.
Sorry.
Emperor Seto Kaiba.
Yeah, so
Pretty much.
he's just there, and like you can tell pretty much immediately this Omura guy's actually running the show. He's like totally Dick Cheneying this guy.
Yeah. But I
and-
mean, he's like 15. How old is the Emperor?
Yeah, he's not that old.
He's
no.
young.
So, the Emperor asks, like, can you say racist things about the Indians? And Tom Cruise is like, nah, I'm going to decline. I'll just say they're very brave.
Well, again, he gets a little Alan Grant on him and is like, well, this is what it'd be like to scalp you.
Well, that's a little later on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That was when Simon was like,
Oh,
you're
right.
going to say racist things about the Indians or I'm going to say them for you. But anyway, so this is the point where we see the troops that Algren has to train, and was it Zebulon, Billy Connolly's character, threatens to shit kick all of their Eastern butts.
Which I thought was funny because like they can't understand
Yeah.
him. They just know that he's yelling and they should do something.
Well, when a Billy Connolly's yelling at you, just do things until he stops, because
Yeah,
you don't
fair.
want that.
Like, and then like another scene later, they showed him yelling. Was Tom Cruise yelling, and then a guy behind him translating and yelling. So I was like, oh, okay, they fixed that part. Like, at first, it's just like,
Well, the translator, like, he's heard Billy Connolly's, I don't know.
Or
He's
maybe we
mad.
just didn't see it, but there were translators out there just translating. I'm going to kick your
Maybe.
silly butt and all whatever.
I would like someone sign languaging that. Anyway, so yeah, we find out about this alleged bad guy, Katsumoto here, the Lord of the Samurai, who uses no firearms, which historically was not true. The samurai were totally using firearms at this point. In the final battle, the character equivalent of Katsumoto is not using firearms because he's out of ammunition and reverted to using traditional samurai weapons for that battle.
Oh, this is based on a real.
The Katsumoto is.
Okay.
The Tom Cruise part is totally not, but
Wow.
Shot.
they
yeah.
had to add the white guy to it
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
That
it's
worked
just
for
it's
American audiences.
yeah. I mean, it is
putting
it's
a bird
Western
on it.
audience
Yeah.
being brought into a period of Japanese history through the eyes of a Western observer.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, and you meet the General Useless over here. Who's like the translator's like, no, he's a samurai, straight up, and they're all just like, oh, okay, like that's not going to be a liability at all.
Yeah. He's cool.
Yeah. That bites them in the ass real fast. And then, yeah, this is the point where Simon's like, hey, Algren, tell me about getting scalped. And Algren kind of freaks out on him.
Yeah.
It's a little graphic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you really hate someone and you pull their hair and then just start cutting and cutting, you're like, okay, dude, calm down.
Well, he grabs Simon's hair and he realizes immediately that was a mistake. He's just kind of like, just lets him go.
It's so greasy.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
understand what's
treacle.
wrong. I just asked you to say racist things in that particular type of people's language.
So the guy who plays Simon, was he in the live action of the Grinch Who Stole Christmas?
No.
Because he looks like
should have been,
from
yeah.
from Whoville. Like,
Yes.
I think he might have actually been deemed too gross to be that. They were like, we got Clint Howard. We can't double down on this. Like,
oh my God, Clint Howard was in that. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Wait, what was Clint Howard in that?
Just someone from Whoville.
He was a mailman, I think.
Yeah. I watched it a couple weeks ago, so.
This is the guy that when you
This
see
Ron Howard movie, Clint Howard's in it, Rob.
when you put Clint Howard next to this guy, this is the one that Clint Howard comes out looking sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, that had Clint Howard and it had Jeffrey Tambor, and he's kind of like if you fuse the two of them together. So,
And then
That's
whack
fair.
to that with one of those like strongman mallets.
yeah.
So it got a little shorter and fatter.
Oh,
All right, so then this is just mismanagement at its finest here because Omura's like, I'm building a railroad, the samurai are wrecking it, so you guys are going to go up and fight them, and Ogren's like, yeah, it's not going to work,
yeah.
and
It's like they're not ready.
yeah, and he's like, well, we're doing it anyway.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Train these guys
Like,
today.
they're so not ready. Watch this.
I'm going to go crazy.
He was fucking nuts.
You want to go nuts? Let's go nuts.
He's like, he picks a guy. He's like, order this guy to shoot me, or I'm going to shoot him. And he walks like 20 paces out in front of the target, pulls his gun out, starts firing at the guy. And the
Shoots his hat off on the first try.
Hat off. Like he's a crack shot apparently.
Mhm.
But the guy, he's freaking out. He can't load his rifle fast enough. He's holding up. He's wavering. He finally fires at him and just totally misses. Like, and the crew's like, they're not ready. Like, they're not fucking ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, okay, tomorrow. See you there. See you in the morning.
It's like, yep, you proved they're not ready. We're going anyway.
He was hoping that he would have shot him though. He would have killed him.
Yeah, he was trying to kill himself there. And the
Also, with that kind of gun, wouldn't it be very likely for him to hit that guy? Like if he tried to shoot his hat off, just hit him in the head.
well, I mean, by that point, like the guns are rifled, so they go where you're pointing them.
It would have shot the guy behind him.
Yeah, it's still a very risky maneuver to be firing that into a crowd of people. Also,
it wouldn't have shot his hat off. We were going through the hat.
Yeah.
And just,
Yeah.
yeah, and if the hat was like metal or something and resisted the bullet, it would have like fucked the guy's head up.
Yeah, bounced around and shit.
Yeah. So anyway, so they walk there and like Simon's asking Captain Algren like, how are you going to find Katsumoto? He's like, oh, he'll find us, which that's a great sign. Like,
Just gonna walk into the spooky woods that are all foggy and shit, and wait till he comes find us.
I got a great idea. Let's fight him in this confined woods with a fog.
Yeah.
It's a perfect spot for battle.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of untrained soldiers. These guys dressed like demons. It'll be great.
Yeah. So like morale wasn't really there to begin with, and it what was there just evaporated immediately.
Yeah, like, because they're using Western tactics of lining up and, like, having the first one row fire, second row steps up fire, that kind of bullshit.
Also, General Useless was just like, no, I'm not going to fight. Those are samurai. I don't
Yeah.
fight samurai.
It's one on my own. I
Get
can't.
that job, the one thing you hired me to do. Yeah.
That's it.
Do it.
That's my best friend. I'll lead you into the woods and I'll stand here.
Well, it's crazy.
I'll bring
like,
you right to his den. That's fine.
like this was common in a lot of armies at this period where they would just be like, no, that guy, he's a cool guy. People like him. You know, he's in charge. It's like, never mind that he's just useless at his job.
It's still pretty commonplace to me too.
At least generally not in an army. But
We hope.
We can
yeah,
hope.
we hope. Yeah. So this battle just gets real one-sided real fast.
So fast.
Yeah. So
Because the benefit of lining up your troops like that and having to fire at once is, like, you make a wall of bullets.
yeah.
But, like, the minute you fuck up that wall, like, you're fucked. Like you have to resort to your own hand-to-hand tactics.
Proper disciplined volley fire system, there'll always be
Someone
shots
shoot.
coming out. But
Yes.
like these guys do not do that
Yeah.
at all.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to hold their fire, but a bunch of them start shooting early. The others are like, "Oh, we got to start shooting. Let's start shooting." So they shoot way too soon.
So
and-
now,
why don't they have their repeaters? That we
yeah,
saw?
why do they have like front loading?
Probably an
Money.
expense issue, and usually at this point it was commonplace not to sell the best
The best
guns to
That's kind of what I was
yeah,
thinking.
enemy,
non-Western
potential enemies.
countries.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
There was some battle where one of the many times Ethiopia beat up on Italy, where they took them on in a battle because they had fairly modern firearms, roughly equal to what the Italians had. So the Europeans were like, "Yeah, we're not going to sell the best guns to anybody." Plus, like at this point, also like it took a long time for the American army to adopt repeating firearms because they were just like, "That's too expensive. You can fire more shots, it's more misses." Yeah, it took really to the adoption in Europe before they were like, "Oh wait, these things just work a lot better."
Yeah.
But you see also between the two battles, because in the end battle they have bolt action rifles.
Oh yeah, like
that are way
they
more
have
effective.
all kinds of stuff by the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at this point, yeah, they just have front loading or muzzle loading. If they're rifled, that's even worse because now your fire rate is just garbage.
Yeah.
They do not have good guns.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what happens here, because after those first couple shots, they have to go and reload, and by that time, there's a samurai up your ass, and
I mean,
it's not too happy.
This unit was broken before the battle started, and now it just routs the samurai whoop ass.
Yeah, because half of them just like run when these samurai are coming up. They're not ready for battle.
Yeah, they scatter pretty quick.
Yeah. And the samurai do look badass.
Yeah,
Really?
and there's like hundreds of years of like the lore of the samurai behind them as well. So you're like, it's like if Batman was a real person, and all of a sudden you just see Batman running at you.
Well, I'm not sure at this point anyone still believes that they're demons behind those. That those aren't masks. They're
No,
actual
but I mean
demons.
they're coming
but
out of the fog.
yes,
looking
they
like,
do. They're definitely intimidating. And,
Like when you're in that
Yeah.
situation, you're just full of adrenaline,
and they're better
fear.
trained.
Well, that and
they pick peasants for some holding guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was not that long ago where they were the only ones allowed to train how to fight, and everybody else was not allowed to even know how to fight at all.
So ultimately, these samurai kick the crap out of this army, and
We get Tom Cruise. He's beating ass. Like
Yeah,
He sure is.
I don't
He's
get why he's so good, but
like I know he's a Medal of Honor winner, and he has no fear of death, and he he's got a lot of combat experience. But in a hand-to-hand fight, he should not be taking on as many samurai. As
No,
he
'cause
is.
I mean,
Kills a
like,
ton of them.
the U.S. Army wasn't trained that way, right? I mean,
No, if you were a cavalryman, you fought with sabers, so you had some degree of combat training.
but like, he was legit taking.
Yeah,
on
you're not taking
all
on
these
like a man in
dudes.
armor with a katana.
No.
like
Yeah,
multiple of them.
I can point out the problem pretty easily, because right here with like a flagpole, I think it just was, he starts beating down like 4 or 5 different guys at least.
See, I like
and a dude in full armor.
Yeah,
But shortly after that, when he's doing sword training, he gets his ass whooped.
well, that's the difference between a one-on-one duel and a battlefield situation.
Eh.
But like I liked the part where there was 5 guys circling him and he's fighting them off with the flagpole. Only because the samurai were like, "Is this guy for real?"
Yeah.
Just kind of looking at each other like.
at that point, you could
like, what are
kind
we
of
doing
tell
here?
that they were like, we could just jump in and kill this guy, but he's like, I don't want to be the guy that gets hit.
Well, that one guy's like, "No, I'll be that guy."
Yeah, well, that guy is, but
He just gets
Well,
stabbed right.
The big thing is the pole he's carrying, the standard that's on it is a white tiger,
right.
and Kitsmoto, whatever, his vision was a white tiger being surrounded by samurai.
Yeah.
And so his brings back his vision, so he stops.
Yeah, this is the white tiger I've been foreseeing.
His vision was of a film negative tiger with the eyes photoshopped back to color.
At least it wasn't spray painted white.
At least it was. Yeah, that's true.
So, the one guy comes over and he's like, "I'll kill him," and Tom Cruise is like, "I'm playing possum." Surprise, and stabs him right in the neck with the end of the flagpole.
Yep.
The samurai were just kind of like, "Oh, sucks for that guy."
They're like, "Fuck,
Yeah.
man."
All right, let's stop playing. And then they just knock Cruz out and put him on a horse.
So,
Well, yeah, they're about to kill him, but Ken Watanabe's like, we got to take him back with us.
Yeah.
so now it'd be very confusing for Algren. So he sees the general that refused to fight is now committing seppuku, but from his field of vision, you can't see that the guy's actually stabbing himself. He just sees Katsumoto cut his head off
Yeah.
to assist him in finishing the job.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because that guy refused to fight, but still killed himself because he was defeated. because he couldn't bear the shame
Yeah.
of the defeat.
Well, maybe just because it was his army, like he was
Yeah.
representing the army.
I mean, I
or-
guess, but it's one of those. it's
Or
like,
because he had turned against the samurai.
Yeah, I mean,
either
like,
or.
he probably was just like, I'm going to let the army do their thing. But when they utterly failed, he probably had to fight somebody or get involved somehow. And at that point, yeah, he's like, I've disgraced us. You won. I have to do the honorable thing.
So, basically, he just gets taken back to the samurai's village.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts, getting worked on by this lady here.
Taka?
Yeah. And her, I guess, nephew, Jolly Good.
Her nephew Jolly Good.
Yeah.
Saki.
Well, that's it. So he wants some sake, so they're like, all right. Well, let's
Brian,
get
it's
some sake.
pronounced sake. Well, no, okay, right
We're
now.
not quite
it's
there
'cause
yet.
It's sake.
But he drinks this like the grossest way possible. He's just slobbing this stuff all over himself.
They seem to really like putting him in rooms with the door open till he looks out it and then they close it on him.
Mm-hmm.
Just over and over again for some reason.
Well, to be fair, that's pretty much how my
yeah.
wife treats me too.
Door time is only acceptable until you look out it. And door time's over.
A unique form of punishment.
Indeed. So, yeah. He once they see him drink the sake, they're like, yeah, let's not give him that anymore. He doesn't need that.
Mm-mm.
So he goes into like some detox and just starts screaming, sake.
He's having night terrors.
No one in the village gives one fuck.
No.
They all just carry on like business as usual.
But as Tony did mention before, the walls are literally paper thin. So he must be waking up everybody.
Yes.
And no one even knows what he's saying at this point.
Yeah. Katsumoto just meditates in a temple. And then
I guess we didn't mention that the Taka's house, Taka is the wife of the samurai that Tom Cruise stabbed in the neck.
well, yeah, he doesn't find that out till his first
No, but I
conversation
mean-
with Katsumoto. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
It's fine.
Surprise.
Yep. Which is a weird choice to have her taking care of him.
Well, I mean, but she's also Hashimoto's brother
Yeah.
or sister. So it's like, all right, you're related to me, so this dude
So,
stays
hey,
at your house.
This man murdered your husband. You need to take care of him now.
It was a good fight. It was a good death.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not enough. We're trying to build a romance between the two of them. It's like, you killed his husband, so good luck with that. Like, why that added step?
It's how they do.
Yeah, I guess just maybe to show how kind she is, that she's willing to look past that.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing though, that they're just like, you gave him a good death, so he's a cool dude. Like,
Yeah.
go, take care of him.
Kind or oppressed. One or the other.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, at first she doesn't seem too keen on the whole thing. She's not like hating on him. It's not like this is the asshole that killed my husband, but she is like, he's kind of a gross pig and he killed my husband. Do I really have to have him in my house?
Goes Katsumoto, she's like, permission to kill myself. And it's like, denied. All right. So basically, like, he wakes up and they let him just walk around in the village.
He says he's like winter's here. There's no path from here to Tokyo. Like you'll never survive it. So
Everyone can kick your ass.
yeah.
Oh, there's that.
Also, you get Bob.
Yeah.
Or Vob as our.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, so he just gets this one kind of older samurai gentleman that just follows him around. Never
Do we-
says anything to him.
Do we ever get this dude's name?
Nope.
He's just Bob.
Yeah.
So
I actually was trying to find him to put him on the cast list, but I wasn't sure who he was. Nobody's
so yeah,
listed as Bob.
that's basically the first conversation. Is Katsumoto's just like, he's like, you're barbarian. You just murdered that innocent general, and Katsumoto's like, I gave him a good death. That was cool.
Yeah, he wanted that.
Yeah, and
I get to help him. That's all.
Yeah.
He loved it. I loved it. Everybody was having a good time.
he's like, look, you're stuck here. Just do your thing. We'll do our thing. So this immediately causes problems because the head samurai warrior guy, like their best swordsman, he's like, I'll just go kill him. And he's like, nah, don't do it. Let's see what we can learn from this guy. So then Tom Cruise is walking around in the rain here.
Because it rains every day.
Because it rains every day, yeah. And he sees some kids doing some practice sword fighting. So the guy that can speak some English, Katsumoto's son, is just like, hey, yeah, go try. Go fight the kid.
do it, Elvis Presley. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
the kids train real hard. You know, they aren't that weak. Like
Tom Cruise is like, I'll just fuck this kid up.
I've killed kids before. Like,
Yeah, whatever.
You want to kill younglings? I'll kill younglings.
So now that like number one swordsman walks by, sees that, and it's like the Kill Bill music is playing as it crash zooms on his eyes. He's like, unacceptable. Suddenly that guy that speaks all the English doesn't speak any English anymore. Doesn't explain his situation.
No speaking or.
Everyone wanted to watch him get fucked up. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I am kind of surprised. Like the first half of this, he keeps having those flashbacks to killing women and children. Like that's the big thing. It was mostly women and children that he killed that made him such a famous hero. And yet here he's like, no, like PTSD when he's holding a sword against a kid's head. Like you'd think that might bring something up.
So yeah, this guy just fucks Tom Cruise up.
Oh yeah.
And Tom Cruise is like, he's like Algren. He's a stubborn dude. He doesn't want to just stay down.
He's knocked down like 9 times.
Yeah.
You know,
And this guy's like, if you keep standing up, I'm going to keep beating you.
Yeah.
he's gonna keep beating you.
And everyone else is just like, all right, well, we'll just watch him get beaten up.
And it's one of the best parts of the movie, just watching Tom Cruise get his ass handed to him.
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be like some building respect for him for being able to keep getting up like that.
His
But
warrior spirit or some bullshit.
yeah,
But I will give this movie credit. This is not just another one of those. And I did mention at the beginning, but this is actually not one of those like white guy shows up and is instantly like the best at everything. He gets his ass handed to him for like the majority of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only, towards the end that they're finally like, well, you put in your time. Let's start, you starting to prove yourself as like a member of this group.
Rob, I understand what you're trying to say, but they were there for a season, not even a full season.
Yeah.
He's killing trained ninja and samurai by himself.
Listen, I'm not saying it was,
he
not
was there
saying
for about
it was-
4 months.
not at all saying it was
4
represented
months.
perfectly. I'm just saying, watch The Great Wall starring Matt Damon.
All right.
And then, any
Yeah.
number of similar films, but where it's just like, yeah, I'm here and I'm the best and I immediately kill it. He at least had to like, yes, it was only over a brief period of time. Yes, he killed ninjas unarmed.
Well, I think
But
it's
they
supposed to be
still-
implied that he has both combat reflexes and a killer instinct.
Yeah, like he's good at stuff.
And it's just he needed to learn what the techniques he needs to be using
Well, yeah.
are, and he was
But
already had the attributes to go.
It's also kind of how we had a throwaway line earlier where it's about, he's quick to learn languages just because we're going to have him speak Japanese by the end of this. So just get used to the fact that he's going to pick it up fast.
Just like Bart in France.
Just accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One summer is all it takes.
So he has another conversation with Katsumoto about General Custer. Katsumoto's like, this guy sounds awesome. And Algren's like, yo, he had the first porn video game made after him.
This is true.
What?
Yeah.
Custer's Revenge for the Atari.
What?
There was a whole series of porn-based games for the Atari, but I believe the first one was called Custer's Revenge, and it was you played as General Custer, and you had until your erection lasted to navigate a series of arrows falling from the top of the screen to go rape an Indian woman tied to a cactus. I'm not making that up. Like that's a real thing for the
Yeah.
Atari.
Atari, you need to eat a Dorito.
Yeah.
Oh, it is not a licensed Atari product, but it is a real thing.
Jeez.
Yeah. And there's a few other ones too, but that one is like the most messed up.
Yeah, if you don't believe us, you can Google it, but I suggest you go incognito first.
All right, well,
Yeah.
So speaking of angry cactus boners,
Yeah. So
he's like, dude, that Custer was a douche. But let me tell you about this movie, 300.
It is, yeah.
Leonidas. Now that was a cool guy.
Yep. Thermopylae.
And then what happened? Well, then there were mutants, and I think some monstrous
Rhinoceros.
elephants.
super tall. Wait,
Yeah, I
monstrous
don't-
elephant? Are you talking Lord of the Rings now?
No.
Was there monstrous elephants?
No, there was
in
an elephant in
300
300.
Or no, it was a rhino. I
There
think.
was an elephant too.
Oh, there was. Okay.
Like an
They
elephant?
make it fall off the side of the cliff.
An elephant or an oliphant?
Yeah, in between the two.
Timothy
They
elephant.
did all kinds of crazy shit in that.
Or elephant, like the
Elefante.
the Black Eyed Peas. Oh.
Oh god.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
also a German tank destroyer in World War II.
Brian's rocking some Black Eyed Peas up in here. That's cool.
That's like, yeah, he's
Right,
like,
that's a little 2000 and late, you know what I'm saying?
wow.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, you guys feel good about yourselves right now? Do you?
Yeah, you
A
know.
little bit.
But also, like, he's, you know, this guy sounds really cool, and like, why don't you just tell him how many women and children you had to kill?
I
Like,
don't know if Katsumoto would care.
maybe not, but I have a feeling that might have turned the story to him a little. But anyway.
So then he's like, you know, I only have my one set of clothes. Let me try these here Japanese clothes. And he starts doing his little karate moves.
When we were watching that, I was like, dun, 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 dun. Sliding into some dancing and shit.
Kid,
But you cannot slide across that wood floor with your bare feet.
Yeah.
It was
It's
really
not gonna
nice
work.
of the little Japanese kid to share his clothes with Tom Cruise, though.
He fit him just right.
A little,
Yeah,
a little loose around the junk, but yeah.
What was it?
right.
Was it his son, his cousin, whatever? The jolly good. He's just like, here, I grew out of these. Like, maybe they'll fit you.
this kid just looks at him like, you asshole. Stop prancing around.
Yeah. What the hell are you doing?
So now,
Take off my Sailor Moon cosplay outfit.
What are you doing? And he's like, I'm the strongest man in the world.
Wow.
Please put down my card captor body pillow.
so he tries like learning the sword fight, and he's just getting whooped. There's like this one really big Japanese guy with the voice like this, and he's like, I'm just gonna jump on his back, sees what happens. That guy gets him in an ankle lock and makes him tap out.
It was vicious, too.
Yeah.
I felt like he really twisted his ankle up. Like,
The director was just like, Tom Cruise, just jump on him, see what happens.
You know what? Probably Tom Cruise likes to do his own stunts. I would not be surprised.
So he learns to speak Japanese. He's at the dinner table. And he's like, you know what? If I just point to things, they'll tell me what the word is.
Whoa.
Well, in all fairness, like,
yeah.
he said something first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
No,
understood what they were saying, like, enough where he can, like, say, think you can have some more.
yeah. Like I believe he asks for more rice
Yeah.
in Japanese, but they're just like, oh my god, it can speak. Like it can talk. It can talk. It can talk.
I can sing.
And
That monkey just talk.
yeah, so he's like, you know, I better apologize to Taka for murdering her husband.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little bit.
So then, you know, we see time passing and Tom Cruise getting his ass whooped some more. They've taken to betting on, you know, how long it'll take this guy, Ujiro, that's their master swordsman,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
to defeat Algren. And then he goes through that big, like, power up, you know, free your mind. I'm going to do
Yeah,
the big
Jolly
move.
Good tells him he's got
And
to
the rest
like
will follow.
yeah, he's got to free his mind. No mind.
Yep.
Which I know. I
gets
heard it.
invoked.
I'm moving past it. But yeah, I was so hoping he would just be like, all right, no mind, and just like in slow motion pull the sword and just get whacked in the side
Well,
of the
see,
head.
it's just like
Great.
he's just out there, and Ujiro just cracks him in the head.
Yeah.
So I like that he doesn't just straight up beat Ujiro. He just
Yeah, it's
he's
a
able
draw.
to fight him to a draw. So now they're like, all right, this guy might be kind of cool. So you know, put on our kabuki makeup and have a show.
Yeah, why not?
And if you're gonna put your kabuki makeup on and have a show, you're gonna attract ninjas.
Apparently.
Like, honestly,
Yeah.
I like this whole sequence.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those ones where you're like, you forgot that that's a thing for a second, and you're
Yeah.
like, "There's fucking ninjas here. This is gonna be
I
amazing."
said the same exact thing. I looked at these guys and I was like, wait, there's ninjas in this movie?
But yeah, we get some weird clown is dancing on the stage with a
Yeah, it's
a dude dressed as a woman. But I just want to bring up yeah, he gets on the stage and he starts dancing around with him. Yeah, and getting involved in it.
He's just
Yeah,
being a
it's
cool
good for
village
him.
elder. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's like the lead dude of the village.
Yeah, he's
get
like,
up and you have a
Hey,
good time.
I might be in charge. I'm an awesome fighter, but you know what? I can have fun.
That's right.
But
good
then ninja
times.
attack.
I put my pants on one
Tom
robe at a
Cruise is
time.
like, I'm bored as fuck. And he's just looking around. And he's like, oh, that's a ninja.
It's like, I would rather stare at the roofs of these buildings.
Starlight, star bright. Wait, was that a ninja?
And the ninja's just on him. There's like fucking crossbows and ninja stars.
Did I just see Michael Dudikoff up there?
Yeah.
But like, oh man, that's amazing.
They got shit on chains.
But he shouts a warning to Kitsumoto to get out of the way or whatever.
Boo!
Kind of saves his life. Not really, but like, alerts him.
Yeah. Not that clown, though.
Yeah.
Well, it alerts that other guy that jumps in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, did he jump in front?
The clown didn't, but another guy was like, I get to die for my lord.
Oh, okay.
Everyone so the Lord, and they all jumped in front of him, to take arrows for him and stuff, which was dope.
Yep.
They jumped down, and no one has swords yet. Like they're all, like all the people that were watching the show, they're all
Party time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a barbecue. I don't.
So they're running, trying. Tom
Bombadil.
Algren grabs Taka.
I don't think
kids.
they don't let him carry a sword yet. Just period. Yeah.
No.
But he grabs Taka and the kids and like rushes them to safety, which according to
Relative safety.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like to in a close place, away from the arrows.
A paper house, yeah.
He's trying.
No.
And then, the samurai start getting swords out, and it's a fucking battle. It's like,
When you live in a paper house, everyone's seen Incredible Hulk because they're just like busting through walls and all that shit. And
yeah.
And it's an awesome sword fight. And there's people fighting all over the place, and the ninjas are kind of swarming Katsumoto, and Tom Cruise is I'm gonna take one, and they start fighting, and the little kid's like, it's my time. Let me get the katana. I got this. Tom Cruise is like, don't do it.
Don't do it, kid.
Yeah, but he saves the day.
Pick up that sword. You're a man, son.
Yeah. Like beats the guy with the footstool, like gets him with a dagger. It's a cool fight.
He does do a little Jackie Channing in this.
A little bit,
in this scene.
You use what's around you. You
yeah.
not die.
That's true.
Yeah. And then he ends up standing by Katsumoto, just fucking like they're both dual wielding, just fighting off ninjas left and right. And the ninjas, of course, once all their surprise and their projectiles run out, now you're fighting samurai in a straight sword fight. That's not really your thing.
Yeah.
They're more like, we like throwing stuff from a distance and like hiding in the dark.
But his body's everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And the
so many dead.
Yeah. And once like Ujiro rallies the guys outside, they kill all the ninjas, and that's that.
Yeah, once Ujiro gets his swords out, it's pretty much like it's done. He's like, I'm gonna kill every one of these fools.
It's funny because like he's Algren sees him, goes to see Katsumoto the last day, and like Katsumoto is like, that was a interesting night last night. Like he's like, it's not a big deal. Like Tom Cruise is like, yo, we just killed like a lot of people, and a lot of your guys died.
Yeah, a bunch of ninjas just killed a bunch of...
It happens.
They died well.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's the winter season. Sometimes you get ninjas.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. You get a seasonal depressive disorder. You get ninjas.
You have to go kill.
When summer comes, they'll go hibernate again.
Yeah.
So, no, he's just like, okay, well, if ninjas can come, that means the passage is open, so we're going to go back to Tokyo and talk to the emperor. And he's like, didn't, like, Omura send those? He's like, yeah, probably, whatever.
But he was kind of sad, though, because, I mean, he just began to respect Algren and, like, how to, like him or whatever. And he's like, you know what? I got to take you back to Tokyo because that's what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
So we don't need you no more. But, like, when you got here, you was my enemy. Now... he just walks away.
Now here's your books.
Yeah.
And like, Algren kind of like, man, I don't really want to go.
Yeah, the place is kind of. At one point, he says he has his first peaceful night's sleep in years.
Yeah, and all the tables and stuff are my height.
Yeah.
Plus, that girl was kind of looking at me.
That kind of girl's looking at me like.
I know she's single. I already saw to that.
Yeah, she's single now. Like, she has a nice ass house already. Like,
Hey, I saved your kid. Did I do anything for you?
So yeah, and what I like with this movie though is I like that even though there is a romantic attraction between Taka and Algren, it's not like Avatar where it seems like the primary motive for Channing Tatum is just to, or well, that's not Channing Tatum, right?
Couldn't possibly matter.
Yeah,
whoever it was. the primary motive is he's
Channing
like,
Hemsworth.
yeah, Channing Hemsworth. He's like, I want to bone this girl, and then I also kind of care about these people.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't know I was a furry until I came here.
Yeah, and this one he's like, I mean, I like her, but that's not really what the movie's focusing on at all.
Yeah.
To be fair, Zoe Saldana, I don't care what color.
Yeah,
She's hot. Blue, green, whatever.
So they go to Tokyo, yeah, and they give Algren his gun back, and they're like, all right, you're free. Adios.
Deuces.
Algren's like, damn, I still got to check in with the army. And he goes over there, and they're like, hey, check out all the shit we just got. We got howitzers, we got Gatling guns.
And guess what?
Way more guys.
We know how to use a shit now.
Well, they had a whole season to actually train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're actually like, they're a fully formed army now. They're like in, formation and shit.
And this is where it gets interesting for Algren. And again, where this movie like differs from other white messiah movies like Avatar and stuff, is Algren's like, samurai are fucked.
Yeah.
But I don't care. He's like, there's no way they're winning. But he doesn't care. He's like, I want to go, I still want to be with these people.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those, like, they're going to pull something desperate out at the end. Like, it's inevitable now.
There's no like, I found a plane that I know how to fly, so I'm gonna fly this plane and just carpet bomb this army.
Or I'm gonna build a giant mechanical mouse so I scare the other army away.
Mm-hmm. So,
It's just American Tail
Yeah, I
up in
did.
here.
yeah.
Wow. I haven't seen that movie in like
No,
decades.
that's pod racing.
So, Katsumoto's like, he goes to meet the Emperor. The Emperor's like, yo, I don't know what to do. These guys are just kind of doing stuff without me telling them to. What should I do? Katsumoto's like, you're the goddamn Emperor.
Yeah.
Like,
Put some hair on your balls, man. You
Yeah,
got
he's
that
like,
little pubes on your chin.
I
Put
can't
some
tell
on
you
your
what to
ball.
do. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
like I appreciate the relationship between the two of them
Yeah.
because Katsumoto, he legitimately is like I love my emperor and I'll do whatever he wants.
I love my Emperor.
Like I'll do whatever he wants to do. I'll kill myself. Like my whole devotion is to the practices that put this here.
Yeah.
But he's like, and the kid's like, Deborah's like, I'm just a kid. Like I don't know. He doesn't say that, but like he's like, teach me. I need to learn stuff. Still teach me. He's like, you're the emperor now.
Like,
son. Like,
I don't trust myself enough. Can you tell me what to do? And he's like, what you need to do is sack up and make a decision of your own, dude. Like,
like,
Beat 'em all.
your balls drop. You got pubes in your chin now. Your balls drop.
Yeah.
Like, it's you now.
yeah.
Beat them all, daddy.
So, yeah. Omura, though, he's like, check it. I'm just going to start telling people what to do. And I think samurai should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to carry swords. Shouldn't be able to have a top knot. That hairstyle's stupid. So it's going to get cut off you.
Says the man with a mustache on the top of his head.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to deploy squads of soldiers to roam the streets and make sure people don't look like assholes.
Playing Wesley
Except me.
Willis.
Except me. I'm on the except
Yeah,
list.
well, exactly.
I had to explain to some people at work today who Wesley Willis was because we were talking about schizophrenics.
Oh, no.
And he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going to list the best schizophrenics, I guess, he close to the top.
So I had to play someone cut the mullet. And they looked at me like, why would you buy that? I'm like, I didn't buy that.
No, nobody
I don't think
buys
anyone
it.
ever bought that.
No.
Yeah, we get a scene where Tom Cruise sees what's his character's name? The
Jolly good.
Yeah, but it's Kitsumoto's son.
Yeah, I forget what his name is.
yeah.
It's only said like once.
He's walking around the street and he's harassed by guards like saying, hey, you can't wear the hairstyle, you can't have swords no more. Did you not hear the laws that we just made up yesterday?
Yeah.
on your way in here.
Haven't you heard?
And we're only saying this to you because there's 6 of us and 1 of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you had 5 hours to get rid of that haircut. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
Well,
And they're not like, hey, we could just take your little hairpiece out.
right?
No, we're cutting your fucking top knot off.
And Tom Cruise jumps in. He tells the kid, basically tells the kid, like, bro, you're gonna die if you don't just like now ain't the place for you to die.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh, that's a Tom Cruise, and hit him with the rifle.
Well, they had to parallel the scalping story.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Although, I know this is like an important thing to him, but I think they were trying a little too hard with that because, like, he really seemed like he was dying when they were cutting that off.
Like I said to you guys, I was way more emotionally grabbed when Uncle Iroh and Zuko cut theirs off. I was like, this is silly.
But I see what they're doing, and that's all right.
He was bravehearting a little bit.
Yeah. Take my top knot, but you'll never take my freedom.
Oh wait, yeah, you did that too.
So
later,
he meets with Captain Algren meets with Mr. Omura, and he's like, Omura's like, yeah, you got to lead my army here because the colonel's an idiot. Like, you were right when they said they weren't ready, but we're ready now. So I want you to go fight Katsumoto. And Captain Algren's like, I'll think about it, and I'm going to leave. And then friggin'
Omura's like, yo, if this guy goes to Katsumoto, fucking, am I do I sound okay?
Yeah, you can.
All right. He's like,
bump you up a little.
If he goes to see Katsumoto, he'll kill his ass.
Yeah, he's like, yo, I got my own like James Bond kind of side villain. I call him Birthmark. He's deploys him and some of his goons to go follow Algren. So, what you call it? The problem with like being super honorable and following a code is you're predictable as hell. And Mr. Omura uses this to his advantage. He's just like, yeah, Katsumoto, come to the council room. Oh, you stepped in the council room? Swords are illegal.
Yeah.
Katsumoto's like, whoa, I mean, my sword keeps this place safe. Also, I can only take it off if the Emperor tells me to. And Omura's like, the Emperor's not allowed to talk in here. His voice is too cool. You're not ready for it.
His voice is absolutely not too cool.
Yeah, Katsumoto's like, yo, I just talked to him like a minute ago.
His voice is still cracking, and he's really embarrassed about it. He's not talking right now.
But that was a valid thing where the Japanese were just like, the higher-ups were like, yeah, the Emperor, you don't get to hear him talk.
No.
What the fuck's that?
Yeah, he's too important.
Pure. Because we're making the decisions for him. We can't allow him to talk.
Yeah, if he ever wants to nut up and say something himself, it'll be fine. But until then, you don't get to hear him speak.
Why should we welcome you, Katsumoto Stormcrow?
Nah, freaking Legolas is running around backfist strike at all these guys. Anyway, so yeah, Omura's like, well, you're not going to take your sword off, and Katsumoto's like, I can't, and he's like, all right, well then you're under arrest.
Yep.
And so Katsumoto's like, well, I guess I'm under arrest, even though I could kill every last motherfucker in here.
They were old as fuck too. Yeah. Every old ass motherfucker in here.
And I just save the guards for last.
They'll be shooting at me the whole time. It won't matter.
Nope.
It would be great. It's like, all right, I'll go to prison, but just so you know, you're already dead. Like 2 seconds after walking out the door, their heads explode.
So meanwhile, Algren's like, he's about to leave, and the colonel comes in, and he's just like, why do you love these people so much? And Tom Cruise is like, I'm not going to talk to you. And he's like, shit, I do love these people. I better go do something.
Yeah, and they go be a good
man.
guy.
And he gets jumped by 4 dudes with katanas. And they basically have like a whole conversation without saying any word, where he's just like, are we doing this? And they're like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yep.
He's like, you're really all going to kill me? And he's like, yep. And then this goes real south real fast for them, because they're like, it's just a Tom Cruise. And then when they charged in, they're like, fuck, it's a Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's a Tom Cruise.
He's a tiny guy, but goddamn, he's fierce.
He's the star of this movie. Fuck, we didn't realize that. Damn it.
Our name is not in the credits.
He pulls some bullshit that would barely fly in equilibrium to get the sword and kill these guys.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he kills the shit out of Birthmark.
And then we have to watch it twice.
Yeah.
He has a flashback of the fight during the fight.
Yeah, that I don't get.
Well, because I think he was realizing that he, if I may phrase, I know Kung Fu. Yeah. He had that moment. And like he did the math in his head, and he was like, I left one of them alive.
Yeah, that's pretty much, because it seemed a little weird at first, because they're replaying the battle we just watched.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he actually didn't kill one of them, and that guy just gets back up.
It was just really unnecessarily long. And
it was
weird.
kind of a weird moment.
It's funny, because all the other fight scenes in this movie are really on point.
Yeah.
This one's just a little off. So he's like, all right, well, I'm an enemy now. Let me go get Simon and let's rescue Katsumoto. He's like, he's like, I threw my lot in with the samurai.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, indeed, fuck it, we'll do it live.
It's interesting how quickly Simon's like, yeah, okay.
There's a fully loaded Tom Cruise bearing down on you.
I mean, I guess.
And he's like, Tom Cruise is like, here's the deal. I'm just going to keep pushing you at these Japanese people, and you better talk your way out of it before I push you into them.
It fucking works. He's like, just don't stop moving and don't stop talking.
Yeah.
And it thoroughly confuses these guards because he's talking to them in Japanese, whatever. But he says, "This is the president of the United States," and they're like, first they're like, "Who?" Then they're like, "That sounds important." Do you know what he looks like? I don't know what he looks like.
I don't know.
Right. I'm assuming he's right.
It's that whole Billy Connolly principle where it's just like, I don't know what he's saying, but he's yelling a
yelling.
lot.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
He sounds angry and he's moving forward, and let's just move aside.
Yeah, so they just use that to straight up get the Katsumoto. And Katsumoto's like, oh, that's cool, but how are we going to escape? And he's like, oh, yeah, your number one swordsman's just killing everyone else. It's a friggin' bloodbath. And this scene also gets a little excessive where, like, they escape, and it's a cool, like, scheme they got going here, you know, where they fight their way out, and you got some untrained Japanese guys with the rifles versus these, like, expert archers friggin' Legolasing them all.
Yeah.
But it's like, they kill, like, 30 dudes coming
There's
around
so
this
many
corner,
guards.
it seems like.
It feels like they're NPCs just spawning like just outside the camera.
Like legit, like that was what was bothering me with the scene because after the first wave of guards get killed, like twice as many more run out. I'm like, where the fuck were they all?
Yeah.
Like because you couldn't have been that far away to show up this quickly.
Yeah.
So what the fuck were these 30 guards doing in one place?
Wouldn't the swordsman have taken them
They're
out
waiting their
already?
turn.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just weird.
Yeah.
Well, also, somewhere around here, we're crossing the bridge when I'm just like, stop going single file, because just arrow drops, arrow drops, arrow. I'm like, jump aside or something, move.
And they all came from
They
the same
go around a
direction.
different corner.
Yeah, you've got guns. Don't go across the bridge at all.
Seek out some cover.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Duck behind that other side of the bridge and fire from there.
But Kitsumoto's son
Yeah.
takes one in the gut.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have his top knot. His power levels were lowered.
Very
Wow.
true. Very true. It's like cut his tail off, you know.
And they wait, like, while these archers kill, like, 20 more dudes to have this dramatic scene where Katsumoto sends them
It's
off.
so stupid. There's no reason for it because it's like he had the energy to run out there on the bridge. You probably would have been okay. Like you probably could have made it home.
Mhm.
They could have extracted.
Well, the
the
worst
bullet,
part,
whatever.
we see that Tom Cruise, what's his name?
Algren.
Algren is watching all this, so it's like you realize he's doing this to slow them down so you can run, right? Like, fucking move. What are you doing?
So, yeah, basically that guy dies, and this action scene's also a little lackluster because of that. It starts off really cool, but you're just like, can we end this now?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, they Katsumoto escapes with all of them. They head back to the village, and then the Japanese army's chasing them. So yeah, this is when Algren's like, check it out, Battle of Thermopylae, 300 guys versus 1 million. He's like, do you understand that number, 1 million? And Katsumoto's like, I'm not an idiot.
It's like, fuck you, fucker.
So like, what the fuck? So then Katsumoto's like, oh, this is a great idea. Yeah, we could do that. So we got a cool, like, let's prepare for battle montage. Fucking Ujiro, the swordsman here, dons his, like, Captain Jack Sparrow guy liner and dances around with a fan for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly that was an actual blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he actually made that sword, but
And I don't mean to be making fun of whatever he's doing, because I'm sure it is an important ritual that he is performing. I was just like, wow, he just looks like Jack Sparrow. Right now.
he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Jolly good.
Jolly good, yeah. So Algren's like, okay, check it, Taka. I've basically just killed and replaced your husband, so I'm gonna need that armor. You're gonna have to put it on me, sexy like.
Well, it's funny because like throughout watching this, there are scenes where like he catches her kind of unaware, and I'm like, he's probably saying, just show me one titty, just one titty.
There's a point at the bath springs.
Yeah, he's
where
like,
he's
yeah.
Can we
like,
get
just one,
just
like,
one? Like, I could imagine what the other one looks like based off that first one.
So before this scene, it's another one of those. He's looking at her, she closes the door on him. But I'm like, just one titty. She's like, no. So
Yeah.
his face, like,
But I
so
will-
when the scene comes up,
But she's the one that comes out and is like,
Yeah.
you need to wear my husband's armor.
it will honor us if you wore the armor of the guy you killed.
Yeah.
My husband.
Please wear the clothes that my husband died in. It
From
probably
your
still
hand.
smells like his blood and
So, yeah, we get
Where
about
his jersey number?
the
when you go out
sexiest man getting dressed montage.
Sure.
I mean, there's not too much competition for that title. Also, while this is happening, you get to watch his katana being forged, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, he comes out and he's like, damn, I mean, I almost had some, but then that didn't go how I thought it was going to go.
Because she kisses him, or
Yeah.
he kisses her, or they
Little
kiss. Like the lips touch. It's
Yeah.
not like a makeup. The lips just kind of touch for a second.
Yeah. And he comes out of the house kind of like, man, I got the blue balls. And then there's a whole bunch of guys there like, whoa! They present him with his own katana.
I gotta go kill something because of
that's exactly it.
I've got a rage boner. Let's go deal with this.
But I gotta say, like, the armor looks cool as fuck.
It
though.
does.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
it
the
really
Best
does.
my armor looks amazing.
It's all red.
Mm-hmm.
I want to own my own, but I would die from overeating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a cool scene where he gets the sword, and it's like, yo, you're one of us, you're fighting with us, let's do this.
Yeah.
And so they go to the battle, and the samurai army just looks fucking cool. Like, they all have the flags on their back, and you see like 500 of them converging on that one spot. You're like, damn, that thing looks awesome.
Yeah.
Fortunately, those flags are not very good when you're the subject of an artillery barrage. Kind of helps with the spotting. So we're at the battle, and the generals are like, let's go talk some shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like Omura and and the colonel versus Algren and Katsumoto.
That's also where I'm kind of like, hey, remember earlier on when we fought them in the woods? That worked so much better for us. Why don't we do that again? Like, nope, open field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, that was it. I mean, at least they were smart enough to realize it's like, let's draw them behind this hill where the howitzers can't
Yes.
get us.
Yeah, they had a decent plan. I just
Yeah.
like, I think you're missing a key element. Anyway.
So they have a pretty good plan here. So the first move of the Imperial Japanese army is just like, hey, you're over there, we're over here. Let's just fire some howitzers at you.
Mm-hmm.
So the samurai are like, let's not stand here and just get blown up. So they act like they're retreating. They set off some smoke screens and they run. So dumbass Mr. Amura is just like, yeah, just send all the infantry in there. Just
Everybody go.
Obvious trap, go.
I've got men to waste. Fuck it, go.
Yeah, the soldiers are trained how to fight, but there's no strategy involved because they're not used to this kind of fighting. And
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're just doing whatever, the higher ups tell
Yeah.
them, and he's
Yeah.
just an ass. So he's like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's like you can control the distance of the fight and they have to fight you. You don't have to fight them. So like you can just go lay siege to the village with those howitzers if you wanted and force them to come to you.
Right.
But he's like, no, just chase him into that obvious trap. So yeah, surprise, surprise, when they get to the other side of the smoke screen, now they're nowhere where the artillery can help them, and they're basically in melee combat with the samurai. I mean, they get to fire a few volleys first, but the moment, the three lines have fired, they just charge. And then, like in all the movies and scene that I never get, is like the side with the guns charged too.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
like, by this era, like the British had long since introduced the colonial world to like volley fire and like getting them in situations where the melee guys would have to rush at them while they just sat there and just mowed them down with volley after volley. But no, the Japanese soldiers just charge in with a bayonet charge, and it doesn't work out very well for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
since they had better guns at this point, so they
Yeah.
can fire, reload, quicker.
Yeah, they had breech loaders. And like they get their licks in. They kill a good amount of the samurai.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Bob finally gets to live up to his bodyguard thing. He gets his good death. He jumps in front of Algren to save him.
He not only jumps in front of him to save him, he kills the guy too.
Yeah.
Like-
Yep. And then I don't know the guy's name, but the really big, like, unarmed combat specialist guy with the cool beard, he gets it at this point,
I mean,
too.
cool's
You go
strong
tell
term.
that man his beard isn't cool.
I mean, all right.
You'll be on the floor in an ankle lock pretty fast.
Oh, somewhere around here, somebody gets
Your
their head
ankles can't
split in
afford
half,
that.
I think.
Yeah. all kinds of brutal things are happening to people now. And then
We get a fire of some day arrows, I believe we pointed out.
No, we fire one day arrow,
Or one, okay.
which
oh yeah, that lights some stuff on fire.
lights the field on ablaze.
That's not really a samurai kind of tactic.
It wasn't. It was.
Well, it was
an
what's his
Algren
name's
tactic.
idea, yeah.
But it's kind of one of those ones where I think the samurai would be like, that's not very warrior-like.
It's not very honorable, but
Neither is the cannons and howitzers.
At this point, they're like, whatever. Fuck it.
And then they start firing a volley of night arrows.
Yeah.
It's
It's super effective.
it really is. It
We
messes
weren't
them up
prepared
good.
for night arrows.
Especially not in the daytime. You don't think about that. It's a strategy.
Would never expect arrows in the daytime.
Dude, timeline was so stupid.
It was really stupid.
Oh.
anyway.
So the Imperials
bad.
are like, hey, we're trying to fight the samurai in close combat here. Let's just run away.
Yep.
And like, so they run, and then Algren's like, so here's the deal. We just beat them, but they're just gonna come back with more, and we don't have any more dudes. So fuck it. Cavalry charge.
Yep.
See what happens.
He is just like, fuck it. Matter of fact, Kitsumoto, he goes, so what happened at Thermopylae? He's like, yeah, they all died.
Yeah, dead to the last man.
Katsumoto is just like, oh, my boner is complete now. Like, this is going to be great. So here's where you get that part where it looks like it's going to go like every other movie where this is actually going to work. It's like it reminds me of The Two Towers when those fucking 8 guys on horses charged through an entire orc army with 20-foot spears. And I'm just like, nothing about this should work. And it looks like this is going to. It looks.
Those are the Riders of Rohan?
Those were the Riders of Rohan, and those orcs were fucking useless.
Yeah.
But it's a really silly scene to look at when you're like.
Yeah, it is. But then they had that flashlight, and that, can't beat that flashlight.
It's a powerful flashlight. So the colonel, he's over here. He's like, I got to lead this personally. Amuro told me to. So he's like, he's got his pistol. He sees Tom Cruise coming. He's got a pistol. He's basically just like, oh, hey, it's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise fucking throws his katana through the colonel's chest. The colonel's just like, oh, I mean, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, well, what do you...
Like,
He Rucker Howard's that motherfucker.
Yeah.
that's the one thing from the beginning you want to see him fight. Them fight.
Yeah.
So I'm a little upset that they don't actually fight. It's nice
Yeah.
that they kills them. They don't actually fight. Like,
But at this point, if they had an actual battle, Tom Cruise would just go sick house on them.
well, yeah.
well, yes.
Well, that's the problem. Like, either Tom Cruise is just going to house him, or it's going to be a bit more realistic, and he's just going to shoot at Tom Cruise from a distance, and he's never going to get anywhere near him. So they kind of split the difference and just had him throw his sword a yard away to his chest.
So, yeah, and this is where I really like this battle scene, because, like, they really do, they make it look like this is going to work. They break through
Yeah, they're
the
running
line,
through cannon fire,
and they're heading
shit.
towards the headquarters section of this Imperial army, and then Omura's like, oh, yeah, we got the Gatling guns.
Yeah.
And, this is how this would always go, but never goes in any other movie. And it's just a fucking massacre when those Gatling guns start up.
To the point where like the Japanese soldiers that are operating them, one of them starts crying. He's like,
Yeah.
"Man, this is fucked up."
I do not feel good about
They're
this.
all on the ground, and he's still just like,
Like, this is so wrong.
yeah. I mean, and
Because that one guy's just turning the crank like, no, look, I'm making him into hamburger meat. And the other guy's like, dude, it's fucked up.
so
Stop it.
yeah, I mean, and this is an important turning point in history where, like, your skill and your morale don't really matter anywhere near as much as just what gun you have and, how you're using it. This is just like all those elite warriors didn't mean anything in the face of, modern firepower.
Yeah.
And, so they all get shot up. And Tom Cruise somehow, I mean, he takes a bullet, but he's the only one that doesn't get killed.
He takes it like a champ.
I mean, I think is he's the only one that understands the weapons he's up against. So he should, like, for the most part, be positioning himself in ways where he's less likely to get hit. But in this scene, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go.
You're in an
There's like
open
15
field.
Gatling
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
rushing towards him. Or he's rushing towards them, rather.
Yeah, it's just you're done. So Katsumoto's about to grab his sword. Algren's like, "Yo, don't do it," and he's like, yo,
fuck you,
I
motherfucker.
gotta do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like you got your honor back with
Yeah.
helping us out because you kill him. You murder the wrong side. Now you help the right side. But fuck, give me my shit.
Yeah, so he helps Katsumoto kill himself. And he's only the white dude survives the battle.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, 'cause, like Katsumoto is like, struggling to stand up. He needs help with
Yeah.
it. Like he looks like he's about to just burst into a bloody sack or something. Like he looks awful, and yet Tom Cruise is just like, yeah, I'm injured. I got a limp.
Yeah,
or
I'm out of
something."
breath, man. You out of
Yeah,
breath?
just
You want
like-
like a Sunny D or something?
And this is one area
Ow.
where I think this would have been really easy to redo. Because simply, like, the part where Tom Cruise kills the colonel, if the colonel had shot his horse, so he fell off his horse, and he wasn't with the rest of the cavalry when the Gatling guns opened up, and maybe he got shot by the colonel or something, so now he's wounded, they're done firing the Gatling guns, and he hobbles over, and he could still have his conversation with Katsumoto, and it makes more sense that he survived. Because from the narrative standpoint, he has to survive. He's the one telling the tale, like... Well, actually, not even, because Simon's telling the tale.
Simon's telling the
so-
tale, so there's no reason for
I mean,
this.
it's nice for, he has a good conversation with the Emperor afterwards, but yeah, it's really weird that he survives this way, and that is a kind of fault on this movie.
Yeah, I think it's just so he could have that conversation
Yeah.
with the Emperor at the end.
So it'd make more sense if he got held up some way and then, was able to see the end of the samurai, but, wasn't just right in that group that got Gatling gunned.
Or
They
like-
should
yeah,
have
like you
had
said.
Katsumoto's son or somebody else, one of them survived the battle because they were maybe in the background.
Yeah.
They didn't get that far. Maybe they lost a leg or something. And they show up at the end and give him the sword for the Emperor and all that.
Or even if Tom Cruise lost the leg.
Yeah.
Well, that
Or if
would
it
have,
was
if he was
something
more
other than,
damaged. Yeah.
I'm a little limpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, he's shot in the arm.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever.
He looks worse when he's in the Emperor's chambers than he does on this battlefield at this
Yeah.
moment, though. So,
All right, so real quick. So throughout the movie, Kitsumoto's trying to write a poem. He can't figure out the last line. Like, he was doing a haiku, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it
Something
a haiku
like that.
or was it
I
just
don't know.
I think it was just a poem. But
Talking about cherry blossoms.
Yeah, because his last words are there, all perfect.
yeah.
Which if you're doing a haiku, that's the last,
Mhm.
yeah.
the 5 for the right? So it's
Yeah.
5, 7, 5.
Mhm.
I think so,
That
yeah.
was- yeah.
Yeah. So I just realized, like, that probably was his last line. Then he dies. So
Yeah.
So then all the Imperials were like, hey, Katsumoto, I know we just shot you to death, but we'll give you a bow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, everybody bows.
shows that some of the old ways are still there. And we cut to the U.S. ambassadors going to be signing an agreement with the Emperor, or really just Mr. Amura, when Tom Cruise just walks in the palace like you do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Again, just don't stop walking. Don't stop.
I mean,
walking.
honestly, I think they just kept telling people he was the president.
At this point, they might believe him. So,
Hot and fresh out the kitchen.
So
or they're just like, "How the fuck did he survive? God, he might be a god.
I
Let him
don't
go."
think we can
He's
kill
a
this
ghost.
man.
Yeah.
He's a spoopy ghost.
So he brings him Katsumoto's sword. He's like, "Yo, here you go." And I think I like what he says though, where he's like, you can't really stop. It's foolish to try to resist, what's happening, but it's also foolish not to remember where what you were and who you were.
Mhm.
So the Emperor's like, "Oh, that was my sack dropping. Amura, fuck you. You're taking all your shit."
He's like, I don't know. Oh,
Amur's like, "But what about my blue collar?" And he's like, "If you don't like the shame, you could kill yourself. Here's a fucking sword. Do something."
He just slaps that paper up in the ambassador's face, like, "Fuck you, get out of here with that shit."
He probably, after this, he probably went to town on that whole harem.
Now, what was this agreement for? Do we know?
It was a trade agreement.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it probably sold a lot of like cultural shit or something to the Americans in
Okay.
exchange for like some machines or something that are going to make them a
But
lot
you
of
say
money.
probably because we don't actually
Yeah,
know.
it's a trade agreement.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
some
small
sort.
print somewhere that says like we legally own your people. If you
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like it almost was a symbol for Western.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't left out because I was like, what the fuck is that actually for?
sign this MacGuffin, please.
And the Emperor's like, "Fuck you, ambassador, get that shit out of here."
Well, I never.
And he's like, "Well, the president's going to be outraged." He's like, "I don't give a damn."
What? Why I never?
So yeah, then Algren's like, "I'm out of here." And he goes back to the village and to Taka.
He is now the only living man in that village.
Yeah, he's like, yo, I am the only man of proper marrying age.
I killed your husband.
Yeah.
I got everyone else in the village killed. For you, I'm literally the last man on
Only one
earth.
to come
Let's
back.
make this happen.
White guy's the only one to come back to the village. He was only in for 3 months. This is mine now.
The villager's just like, you motherfucker.
I'm here to raise your son.
You know what? Your property values are down. I'm coming in. I'm gonna move it to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Hey, kiddo,
I was
you
just gonna say,
I'm Trader Joe's, and
I preserved your culture. Now let me ruin it.
you can all call me daddy.
Everyone will call me daddy.
Every last one.
I'm so glad to be back here. Start learning English.
And it just ends right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the legend.
All right, guys. So what did Rotten Tomatoes have to say about The Last Samurai?
Okay, they listed a critic score of 66% and an audience score of 83%. That's their thoughts and opinions. What about you and yours, Brian?
I still enjoyed this movie. Like, I think it held up. You know, it's not that old, but I mean, it held up pretty well. It's still enjoyable. I mean, you know, you see a lot of like the whole white savior thing happen, but like it's done in such a way where like, you know, like Joe was saying earlier, it's the tale being told through this Western eyes, whatever. So you kind of like let some shit go, or whatever, and it's still entertaining. Like the ninja fight's amazing. Like there's ninjas and shit, and it's a good watch. I'd recommend it.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend it too. It actually is a much more solid and enjoyable movie than I even remember it being. The fight scenes, like Brian said, are really, really well done. The movie is very long, which is one of those things. And it does kind of push the whole, you know, just white man comes in, saves the day, even though like everybody else dies, but he lives, which is ridiculous. But he presumably saves that village from extinction single-handedly. So, I mean, for that, it's kind of like, it's like one of those, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but, I think it's worth watching just for the fight scenes and stuff alone. So I'll recommend it.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, historical dramas, can't go wrong with that. Of course I'm going to recommend it. Oh, you can, yeah. You totally can. But yeah, no, I mean, I think Rob hit the nail on the head with its faults. I don't know if I would have gone with Tom Cruise as the main character, and like all the problems with this movie are related to that main character being there, but they're all ignorable. And like the story told in the movie is still a good one. And yeah, the fights are awesome. That battle at the end is real cool. It's all in all solid movie.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with a recommend as well. I think if you haven't seen it, it's worth checking out. If you've seen it, it'll still hold up, but like you don't really need to go back to it.
You got to watch Ninja Kabuki Time again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to watch it for the fights, like again, it holds up well enough. If you want to go back, sure, but there's not a whole lot to like. I feel like if I never watch this again, I'm kind of okay with that. It's not something I've seen multiple times either. It's kind of a one and done situation for me. But if I ever do see it again, I'll enjoy it. Like you said, there are some faults, but overall, not too bad. But I will not be watching it every May 26th. But if that's your bag, go for it.
One thing I don't know if we commented on, but Ken Watanabe kills it in this movie, by the way. I believe it earned him an Oscar nomination.
I think so.
Yeah.
And for his first American movie speaking English, it was perfect. I mean, like, I know he's intentionally supposed to be a character that doesn't know English all that well, so it helps. But yeah, he did a great job.
Well, that was like for a long time afterwards, like every studio was just like, if we need a Japanese man, it will be this man.
What do you mean for a long time? It's still that way.
It still is that way. Yeah, pretty much.
If I'm not mistaken, that came up when we were watching the trailer for Detective Pikachu. Did it not? Was that not Ken Watanabe?
Yeah. And Godzilla.
Yeah. But yeah, so everybody recommends The Last Samurai.
But it's funny, like I was trying to think of an alternate to watch if we had to come up with something else to watch, and I was gonna say just watch the anime Kenshin. Because the first season 2 when he's fighting the Ninja Clan or whatever with the guy with the machine gun shows up.
Yeah, that's early on.
That's like this. Yeah, that's like the westerns coming in, and how do these ninja and samurai deal with the guns and shit like that? Like, watch that. You should watch it anyways. Kenja's dope.
Yeah.
All right, guys. What's next on the list?
It's that time. Time to watch D20 Fate.
D20 Fate.
Roll that die.
D20 Fate.
See what we will get next. Tony's roll, I believe.
Yep. And wada.
17.
17. It's a high number, but is it going to be a good movie? What are we?
Yeah. Well, maybe. It's 1992's. 1990s. Gremlins 2.
Oh,
All right.
The new batch.
See, when I first saw this movie, I was like, this is nowhere near as good as the first. But I got a feeling it actually is aged way better.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
There's a lot of interesting things in this movie.
I got a lot to
see.
say, but we'll wait till we get there.
We'll see.
But all right,
shall
Gremlins
see.
2. That's a thing. That's going to happen.
Wow.
All right.
I gotta say, every time you say the year and it's like 19 not like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Yeah.
I also talk about a roll of the dial. It's 90s. Could be anything,
The minute
man.
you say 2, I'm like, fuck.
That's when everything went to shit.
Well, guys, please join us next time for Gremlins 2.
The new batch.
The new batch. We want to thank you so very much for listening. If you like what you heard, please consider subscribing. We do an episode usually every 2 weeks, whenever we feel like it. Plus, we have all kinds of cool stuff, like our trailer discussion episodes that we still don't have a real name for. If you'd like to sponsor an episode, you can check out our website at the 4am podcast at.
Can you call it trailer trash? Because y'all trash trailers.
Well, that's the thing.
I
debated that.
suggested that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which I believe came up during the second episode, but then
It came up
somehow
before,
dropped.
it came up before we even started recording because I suggested it.
Okay.
But anyway, check out our website at the4ampodcast.podbean.com. You can find all of our archived episodes as well as just cool stuff. Our movie list,
Our
I think,
merchandise,
our merchandise.
store is up. You can get to it from up there.
Buy some stuff. You can find our. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at 4am podcast.
Yeah. You can also like and share and subscribe
That-
on our
That
website.
would be
And
so awesome.
share episodes and tell your friends and
You
leave
guys-
comments.
I have it right here in front of me. I'm just trying to keep it loose.
Leave comments and stuff. We
How's that
appreciate all the comments we get.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact,
Every
while we're at
time I
it,
keep it loose, I poop myself.
That's true.
while we're at
That's
it, why
really
don't you
nice.
write in and tell us trailer trash? What do you think about the title?
Yeah, how about you email us at anybody?
The 4am podcast.
And
Yeah,
gmail.com.
Thank you. You guys are so good. I love it. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Deuces.
Later.
Adios.
Sake!
Sake!